All right, let's get this party started. My name is Angela Lehman, and I'm with Living Well Now, and this is our Living Well Now Wednesday Wisdom Call. Today, we're pleased to have Jake Dempsey of Oily Tools fame and fortune with us.
Woo!
Isn't that exciting? And this is a last-minute kind of thing that we planned and then lost track of. But we're really, really grateful for you taking time out, Jake, to be with us. We think it's really important that our team knows about this amazing resource. It's been something that's been really helpful to my sister-in-law and I in this last probably year and a half that I've been using it really consistently with tracking some statistics. It's not my gift, and I'm glad it's somebody else's, yours. And I want you to tell a little bit about your backstory because I got to hear you and Christy talk at, like I said, at Mastermind. But I'm just curious if you'll tell us a little bit about how you got started in Young Living, and then we'll jump into the Oily Tools conversation.
Well, it's kind of a hard story to tell because I really didn't join Young Living. Christy did. And I think we talked about this at Mastermind, is that, Christy had already been in Young Living for, I think, a year and a half before I really kind of came on board. And I tell the story now in hindsight because I was a big jerk, like a total jerk. And I also tell it to let, people know if they're growing a business and their husband isn't supportive, there's victory on the other side. There really can be a victory on the other side because I was very unsupportive, like a straight jerk. And it wasn't really because it was a network marketing company or I didn't see the paycheck. It was, I tell people that every guy is born with this internal BS meter that's just always pegged out. It's just the way we're built. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. And what I was like watching Christy over the course of her Young Living business, and I would see her like read books and learn how to do scheduling, and she was taking like real, putting real energy into growing a business and it not be her hobby or something she wanted to play with. And she would, want to talk strategy about the business. So over time, my little meter keeps going down to empty. And at some point, there's nothing left in the tank for me to say, you can still be unsupportive. So eventually I run out of unsupportive thoughts. And then I, told her I was a total idiot, and I apologized and told her that, I certainly wanted to support her. And we had a really deep conversation about what that meant for her business. And she had decided that she really wanted to go for Diamond, and she was gold at this time. So think about it. If you currently have an unsupportive husband, I didn't support my wife and she was gold, right? That's significant income. And I still wasn't supportive. So there can be victory on the other side. So we sat down and had this long conversation about me coming on board to support her and her going for Diamond. And then I spent the next year and a half doing all the laundry, all the cooking. I took the kids back and forth to school, managed all the sports so that she could really focus on her business. And I think she hit Diamond within a year of being gold at that when I finally came on board. So I give her all the credit. I mean, the reality is Christy is the crown diamond. I was blessed that I have, certain gifts and talents and software, and I've owned a software company for a number of years. And she wanted to figure out a way to get me engaged in her Young Living business after I was supportive of her growing the business. And that's where Oily Tools and Oily Events and Driven for Success, all of that really is the genesis of all that is Christy and me watching her grow her business and her figuring out how to get me involved using my gifts and talents into her business. And, I tell everybody that, I do get the glory for building Oily Tools and maintaining it, but, everyone should really give her a hug and take a selfie because without Christy, it wouldn't even exist. The thought wouldn't have existed. So.
And when you said you came full circle, or you came back to be supportive, was the statistics like part of your plan to like in strategizing with her from gold to diamond, or was that just part of the bigger picture?
Well, it's funny because, we were learning how to build this business because neither one of us had really done network marketing, and I didn't understand the business model. Christy really understood it more than me, and I started learning more about it, and I read the 4-Year Career and some other books to just get a better idea of what this business meant as a profession. And then all this stuff just starts rattling off in my head, like, well, how do we do this? And how are you tracking this? And the biggest question that drove Oily Tools was, how much are you making this month? And we never knew, right? We never knew at the end of the month. And that was the biggest feature we wanted to go build was, how do we know at the end of the month what we made so that we can prepare and budget and plan for the next month? And I would watch her. So most of what comes in Oily Tools is me watching Christy and getting terribly frustrated with the way she has to do something, because my kind of analytical software brain is always looking for a way to optimize, make it simple, remove 20 clicks from a workflow, and a lot of the stats that we have and the reports that we have come directly from me either monitoring her or just collaborating with people in our Facebook group. So the stats feature, which is one of my favorite features, not my idea, not even Christy's idea. We were collaborating in the Facebook group, and someone had said, what's a good metric or what's a good number for this stat? And I think it was average PV per member. And we weren't tracking that. And I was like, wow, that's a really good stat. How do we not know this? And then I just asked other people, what stats do you use in your business to grow and manage your business to make sure it's healthy? And we had hundreds of comments for people that track this stat or this stat. Oh, that's a really good stat. And we literally went that day and built the first version of the stats that is today one of my favorite features. And it totally was not an idea that came from Starter Step, the company that I own that we built Oily Tools, or from Christy. It was just from the community saying, we need this, we track this. And it kind of, begot the stats feature, which I love. I actually think it's one of our best features.
So I'm just curious, what is the best optimized average PV per member? Do you know?
Better than last month. So I tell people.
So true.
No, I have this conversation a lot because I get asked, a lot because I deal with the numbers so frequently. A good one is your ER percentage. People ask me all the time, what's a good ER percentage to have on your team? And we used to teach, and we were told that you should shoot for 30%. If you had 30% member percent ER, you were doing good. And then we got a call from a cross-line leader who asked us to do a conference call with her team on getting more people on ER. And Oily Tools existed, so I asked, what's your member percent ER? And ours was like 32. And hers was like 45. So at that point, I'm like, why would you want me to teach your team something and you guys are crushing it compared to us? But she had this perception that she wasn't doing well. So I tell everybody, when you're looking at stats, when you want to look at what should my average PV per member be or my member percent ER, better than last month. Mm-hmm. And better than last month can be 0.1%. But if you did 0.1% every single month, year over year, then you're going to get a lot of conversion, a lot of people on ER. The biggest thing I tell people about stats, though, specifically about ER, is if you look at Oily Tools, there's a stat called average PV per member, and there's a stat called average ER order. And I have never, and I don't usually use the absolute terms like never and always, but I've never looked at a member's stats and not seen the average ER order be 3 to 4 times the size of the average PV per member. So the data shows us very plainly that if you get team members on Essential Rewards, they purchase more product. And it's primarily because we get addicted to ER points. I mean, that's the truth.
Christy, they went up too.
I getting that shipment where you have like this huge box of free stuff that you get to take pictures of, that's like, I don't know, that's like the best thing ever in Young Living. And then people transfer buy more. They change over their toothpaste and their body wash and their laundry detergent. So you find that people on ER typically will try new products more frequently than those not. So ER is huge in our business. And there's a ton of stats that really help you understand your ER. Another one I really love is there's a stat called member ordering percent. And there's one member ordering percent ER. And what it's basically telling you is, out of all the people that do place an order, what percentage of them are on Essential Rewards? So you can have, say, 30% ER and think you're not doing great. But you look at your ordering percent ER and it's like 95. Meaning, like, out of all the people who place orders in your team, 95% of them are on ER. That means you're crushing it. You just got to figure out how to get more people on ER. Because if you get them on ER, they stay on ER. That's what that tells us in the data. And there's an ordering percent ER stat. I think that stat is really underutilized because we typically focus on what percentage of my team's on ER. But we all know that you have attrition. Sometimes people decide not to purchase anymore, not to do the business. What's really important is, of the people who are placing orders, what percentage of them are on ER? Because if you keep that number really high, that just means you got to get more people on ER. And if you get them on it, they stay on it. And the data shows you'll have a much larger OGV because of that too.
How do you think the new Young Living piece of no skip month will affect, or, I mean, is that going to shift that number?
I think it's positive. I tell people in our team, and I teach on this, there's 3 ways we earn money, right? At 50 PV, at 100 PV, and at 100 PV on Essential Rewards. If you do 100 PV on Essential Rewards, you qualify for every possible commission or bonus that Young Living has to offer. And I think from a pure business perspective, if you're getting into this for the long haul and you're getting in this committed to the business side of it, you should be doing 100 PV on ER every single month. It makes sure you qualify for every potential commission that we have. And it also, I think, tells your team you're invested. And if you duplicate that in your team and focus on the Rising Star Team bonus, which I think is the most foundational thing we have in our business to structure your team accordingly to go all the way to Royal, it's what gets you in the long haul. And I think the skip month, I think even when we were young in the business, we used it as a crutch. If we needed a skip month, it lets you like uncommit a little bit. I'm going to skip this month. But if you're really committed to it and it's your business, I'm kind of glad they're taking the skip month away. Yeah. It makes you have a stronger level of commitment, I think.
For sure. All right, you brought up something really key. Talk about how Rising Star Team bonus is like the best kept secret that shouldn't be a secret.
I know, like we didn't even know what Rising Star Team bonus was when we first started. And now I teach it every chance I get because, if you think about what you need to be Royal, you need 6 legs. To go all the way to Royal, you need 6 legs. And if you focus on building using Rising Star as the template, you get 7 legs. Because to earn the first share, you need 3 people. And then to earn the next 2 shares, you need 2 more people. And then to earn the last 3 shares, you need 2 more people. That's 7 people, all on ER, all with OGV growing teams. And if you duplicated literally just that concept with people in your team and people in their team, you would have a huge organization. And the data shows us, right? If they're on ER, they're going to start purchasing more products. So your OGV is going to be massive because of that too. Like I get asked, people talk about stacking and placing and strategic placement. Rising Star is the way to do it. I think the other things are not bad, more advanced topics to try to figure out. But if you want to structure for really long-term growth in Young Living and have fantastic income opportunity, Rising Star is the thing to focus on.
For sure. Thank you for that. Well, and within the Oily Tools app or the interface, I use both on my phone and on my Mac as well. What would you? Is there a way to find my Rising Star Team bonus? I don't qualify anymore. I'm a gold level leader, but how do I track that?
Well, so there actually isn't a way for you to find people in your team currently that are like maybe close to Rising Star. But there are reports you can run like in the custom reports to find people that should be on ER. So one of the things that drives me bonkers is running a report of like PV greater than or equal to 50 and ERPV equals 0. So those are people who already buy product. They buy enough to even be on ER, but they're not on ER. And many times you can reach out to those people and they're uneducated on what our ER program is. And if you can educate them and get them on ER, just that alone is going to grow your OGV. And I do the same thing with finding people at promo level. So if you run reports using ERPV greater than like 170 and less than 190, those are people that are less than 20 PV away from getting their first promo. And then you could do the same thing at the 250 level and the same thing at the 300 level. But this is what will blow your mind. And I challenge you to do this later. Run that first report. I've sat with people and run the report, and they have people with an ERPV and not processed yet with 189.25. That's the highest I've seen that is missing a promo by less than 1 PV. And it won't, it's not going to grow your business exponentially by calling that person. But if you called that person and said, you're missing out on a free promo this month. Did you know we have promos? You only need 1 more PV to get this free bottle of oil. The amount of like trust that creates with you and that person in your downline is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, you never know if the oil that they're going to get in that promo is the game changer for them.
That's true.
It could be the one oil that lights their fire for the business or lights their fire in terms of what they need for their family and their wellness. So it's worth the phone call for the long term, the long term benefit with the leader.
For sure. Oh my gosh, that's mind blowing. I've played around with the custom reports, played around because I'm more of a blue leader who just wow, numbers, cool. What can I do today? And I've done but those are really specific tasks that will bring about income producing activity when we make follow up calls and
Huge
calls. Yeah.
So this is the way you should think about reports. Any report you run is an opportunity list. So I know numbers kind of get to people sometime, but think about reports are a way to get a list of opportunity. So everyone is scared, not everyone, but most people are terrified to make care calls. They just are. Are they going to answer? Are they going to tell you they're busy? You don't want to you don't want to get rejected, right? And you don't know what you're going to talk about when you call them. So if you can pick a few custom reports that give you really a reason to call them. Hey, you're going to miss a promo. Hey, I saw that you place an order every month and you're not on ER. Do you know what ER is? Do you know about these points? It gives you a really good way to reach out to them. And if it's something that benefits them, like a missed promo opportunity, you're not going to get rejected. If I called you tomorrow and said, hey, Angie, if you add another 1 PV to your order, you get a $40 bottle of oil, you're probably not going to reject that call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, customer service, outrageous customer service is part of providing that. That's awesome. That's so good. So talk to us about subscribing to Oily Tools a little bit. I want to make sure we give kind of I want to call it a pitch, or just some people like, who is this geared for? Deb, I know you're on the call. This is my mom. And we just got you on Oily Tools a couple days ago. Was it yesterday maybe? Did we have over 50% of our senior stars and above? You're on mute. So you're going to have to unmute yourself.
We are almost at 50%, 49 point whatever.
That's pretty good.
Awesome.
The whole team, the whole Living Well Now team. Yeah.
And so what I did was I have a stat called Oily Tools participation. And what's funny is I thought initially that Senior Star was really the rank where Oily Tools would start adding value enough that people would pay for it. And that's what that metric is for. But what's really interesting is like 25% of our entire user base are stars.
How about that?
So I'm speculating here, but I think it's because if people we joke that we were always diamond leaders. We just didn't have a pin yet, So we came into this as wanting to be diamond leaders. We just didn't have a pin to show people. So I think there's people that are starting this business, right? And they're currently a star or a senior star. And they know they want to build a business, so they get the Oily Tools tool to help them do that. And there's features in Oily Tools I think that even at Star are super powerful, like product notifications, huge feature. Knowing when stuff comes in and out of stock is a big deal. But my brain tells me that for most of the feature set, as soon as someone hits Senior Star, their team is big enough, and calculating their check is not very practical anymore. That's when it becomes a really good opportunity to get Oily Tools. And there's a lot of ways you can get it, right? You can either just go sign up, and when you sign up at oilytools.com, it's $6.99 per month, or you can do the annual option, which is $69.90 for a year. But if you've never tried Oily Tools, don't go sign up yet. Ask someone in your team to gift it to you, because they can gift it to you for free for a month. So, you can go to the website and log in as a current user and gift Oily Tools for 1 month for free. It costs you nothing. And that person can use it for a month to see if it's something they want to invest in as a tool for their business. So it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good point too, about being serious and even tracking these numbers that we were talking about today. We can do some of that in the virtual office, but in terms of your check and in terms of, what you like, the specifics, I find it a lot more convenient to be able to use Oily Tools and drawing up what I want from there.
Thank you. And we're adding some really cool stuff right now. I'm testing some of it, right now. So, we've got like push notifications for product stock and new member and new ranker. And right now on my phone, I'm testing push notifications for retail to customer conversions, for reactivations, for new ER signups. So these are new push notifications that are coming in the next release of Oily Tools, because we really believe if we can figure out, again, it's an opportunity. A push message is an opportunity. If I can give you a push message that says, Sally just signed up for ER, that's a great opportunity to call and say, hey, do you have any questions? What did you put on your ER order? I mean, it's a great opportunity. Or when someone converts from a retail to a wholesale member, they're only doing that because they want to do the business. So that's a great opportunity to call them and see if they've got the right resources, or if they have any questions, connect them with your business groups. It's a great opportunity. And we're also doing, we're building what we call Oily Tools Pro, which I'm praying comes out in December. And part of what we're doing for Oily Tools Pro is we're making it so that you'll have a year's worth of data, so you can run reports. Yeah, it's crazy. You can run reports for any, period. We call it young living in the past year. So you can get stats for any month in the past year, reports, look at your commission earnings for the past year, and a bunch of other stuff we're adding. So we're hard at work trying to get OT Pro built, but we're also building a lot of really cool stuff for what we call Oily Tools Regular, which is what we have now, the standard version, like the new push notifications, which are going to be awesome. I'm getting them on my phone now, and it's actually pretty cool. Like when you get a reactivation notification, it's just neat to know that, man, they just came back to the business. I need to call them and see if they have any questions.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've really appreciated the new rankers. The money misser has been huge for me as well. And because again, just like if somebody's missing a promo, being able to call somebody and say, look, a $50 order because these people signed up under you, will give you a paycheck is a nice gift to give them for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine a phone call going bad when you say, hey, if you place a 50 PV order, you're probably going to get a $50 check, which means your products were free. Please call me with that. I would love that phone call.
Exactly. Well, and Jake, I too, I love where I've seen a little bit of the ideas of what Pro is going to bring, and I love the archives, being able to track back. One of the quotes we've been using a lot lately is Darren Hardy says, "Whatever you want to change, track."
Exactly.
You want to make a change to. So we're being a lot more intentional and strategic about that. We've been using, paper, pencil, abundance tracker models for years. But this just helps. It helps me fill in some of those numbers to notice percentage growth, that kind of thing, so that we can make some guesstimates about, that God zone place where you're stretching yourself as a leader, but also that accurate place that's statistically based, so that you are higher than next month, but you don't put yourself so high that you're disappointed when you don't hit it,
And you don't have to overwhelm yourself. I mean, I think if you pick, 4, maybe 6 different areas of your business, like teams or OGV, or if you want to focus on ER, don't overwhelm yourself with what to track, but pick, 4 or 5 things that you can track and that you're going to make like intentional business decisions on. Do those things, measure it again, and see if you're getting progress. It's hard to say that your business is growing or it's healthy if you're not like monitoring it. Otherwise, it's just a feeling. I feel like it's doing well. I have no data to back that up, but if you track a few of these stats, I think it really helps kind of validate if the business is healthy like you want it to be.
Yes. And if it's projecting an income that is sustainable, or you want to see how it grows. I love when you can change, what would my income, what would my check be if I ranked up?
It's addicting.
It is. And it's motivating. I think it's addicting and motivating all at the same time.
Well, I look at it like this, when you change rank to the higher rank, that's literally Young Living has said, I will give you this much money. You just have to go out and share more. The money is already like ready to be on the check. You've kind of earned it. You just don't have the rank for them to put it on the check. Like that's a huge Well, for me, it's a huge motivator. That's just the way my brain works. If there's money left on the table, I'm going to go hustle because I don't like to leave it on the table.
Absolutely. Here are my notes from today. Hustle. There we go.
There you go.
Hey, we also just so you know, we really appreciate Oily Events. We've been using that for the last year. Used it with a really big event. You were awesome customer care to make sure everything worked well for that. It's so much better to give money to you guys and to the foundation than it is to Eventbrite for those.
Thank you.
So you have our support on that for sure. And just grateful for just vision and making this an easier process for business leaders, because we're growing up a lot, and it's wonderful to have this tool and resource to share.
Thank you, Angel. And we continue to look for ways to add more value. So we have other.
Your Facebook group is awesome, because there's so much collaboration, cross-line and up-line and down-line, and it's always always new ideas and things to think about. So really great to have that community there as well. I know that can probably be tough to manage sometimes.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's so easy.
I asked Andrea when we were getting ready for this call, I said, so how much sleep do you think Jake gets? Because that question goes out and you're on it. Like, yeah, not a lot.
I really make it a point I answer every email that comes into our business, not just for Oily Tools. I answer every email personally, and I answer every Facebook message personally. And I got that actually from a book I read about, we live in this world now that's more like our grandparents' economy than the economy of our parents. Mm-hmm. And it's primarily about this idea that people have this everybody has this huge platform now that they can say something negative about your business in an instant, and it's got 1,000 likes and it's been retweeted. And the idea is if you provide the absolute best customer support, people will respect that, because it's hard to find that now. So I make sure in everything that we do at Starter Step, and even in our Young Living business, we provide carry your face off kind of support for people that we care about, because it's what really matters in the long run.
Awesome. Couldn't have said it better. That's wonderful. Jake, thanks so much for being with us. I think there were some questions over in the chat, but it looks like they were handled. If anyone has a quick question, you can throw that out. Otherwise, we're going to let Jake get to a baseball game, because I'm glad to hear that you're having fun, dude.
I know. Well, it's rare.
I'm saying you got to make most of these times.
I know. I got invited to go to a Rangers game, and I initially said no, because that's just, I'm a no. I say no. Maybe my kids say that. You always say no. And then I said yes, and a couple other Young Living guys are going to go as well. So I get to go have a Rangers night. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. So Jake, do you have an EO Bros t-shirt yet? We've got a big EO Bros.
No, I've seen the shirt and I don't have one.
We're going to, Deb Lehman, you work with an EO Bro. Can you make sure we get Jake sent out an EO Bros shirt? Then you can take those to the next Rangers game, and the next time you go out to have fun or do whatever.
I'd love to.
Cool. Awesome. Have a great night. Again, thank you so much, Jake, and thanks for those of you who joined us live and those who are listening to our recording. We appreciate everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.